At the age of 78, John Paul Jones, the unsung hero of Led Zeppelin, has revealed the truth about his time with the band. We discover startling new details about rock's silent talent, including his inventive use of technology, multi-instrumental skill, flawless bass grooves, and brilliant arrangements. Frequently eclipsed by the ostentatious personas of Page and Plant, Jones's subtle demeanor unveils unexpected anecdotes and insights that underscore his indispensable contribution to the group's triumph. It's vital to examine his early path towards joining Led Zeppelin before delving into some startling revelations about his time with the band. Born in Sidcup, Kent, England on January 3, 1946, John Baldwin was a pianist and arranger who grew up surrounded by music thanks to his father. He started learning to play the piano at the age of 6, and he soon reached the goal of mastering the foundation. By the time he was a teenager, he was performing with his father at different functions. Due to his early exceptional talent, Jones started his first band while still in boarding school and went on to study music at Christ College. At the age of 14, he bought his first bass guitar, a Dallas Solid Body Electric, and started working as the organist and choirmaster at a nearby church. As a member of the Jet Blacks, Jones gained recognition alongside virtuoso guitarist John McLaughlin. McLaughlin would go on to become well known for his work with Miles Davis's Brew Period Group and the Mahavishnu Orchestra. Following the breakup of the McLaughlin Group, Jones considered going solo and making his debut album under the moniker John Paul. Released in April 1964, Jones, a nickname proposed by his friend Andrew Loog Oldham, was Baja, or a foggy day in Vietnam. But in the end, he opted for the more subdued but highly influential route of working on a session basis from 1964 to 1968. Jones gained a superb reputation and showed his flexibility via his prodigious work in the 1960s. While negotiating the busy world of session work in London, he first met Jimmy Page, setting the groundwork for his next historic chapter with Led Zeppelin within the music industry. Jones's contribution to the Yardbirds' 1967 album Little Games cemented the working partnership even more. Page, P.A., and the band's tough manager Peter Grant set out to create a new powerhouse group once the Yardbirds finally broke up. Now that Jones was on board, Page started looking for players to round out the roster. A light-hearted discussion Page had with the band's bassist John Entwistle and drummer Keith Moon served as the basis for the new moniker. Early in 1969, Led Zeppelin released their debut album, Led Zeppelin. The album connected with a growing number of young rock fans, who were enthralled with the unadulterated energy and avant-garde sound of Led Zeppelin songs like Dazed and Confused, despite receiving mixed reviews from critics. Rock group Zeppelin was well known for its intense live shows, which featured signature riffs from guitarist Jimmy Page, heartfelt vocals from Robert Plant, complex, jazzy bass lines from John Paul Jones, and thunderous drumming from John Bonham. The band's tremendous intensity and heavy reliance on blues rock clichés helped to define their identity. The band reached previously unheard of heights by the late 1970s, commercially embracing their role as rock gods while simultaneously condemning Ally. The bassist and keyboardist for Led Zeppelin, John Paul Jones, was instrumental in creating the band's recognizable sound. He was a pioneer of new musical technology, fusing aspects of jazz, classical, folk, blues, and folk music into his compositions. Nevertheless, this diversity caused artistic tensions with other members, as Jimmy Page favored a more unadulterated, unrefined rock sound, while Jones frequently pushed for compositions that were more intricate and experimental. The public frequently disregarded Jones' contributions, and critics tended to emphasize Jimmy Page and Robert Plant's flashy stage personas, pushing Jones to the background. The band's dynamic, with Plant singing and PA's guitar taking center stage while Jones and drummer John Bonham provided a strong rhythmic bass, contributed to this impression. Jones was mostly ignored because of his reserved manner and lack of enthusiasm for the rock and roll lifestyle. His place as a crucial member of one of the best bands in rock has been confirmed as his role has come to be more widely acknowledged over time. The band's internal problems intensified in the mid to late 1970s, particularly as they were recording their album. The members' disparate lifestyles exacerbated the conflict, as Page and Bonham's love of late-night partying stood in stark contrast to Plant and Jones's more methodical approach to recording sessions. The Guinness Book of Records states that Led Zeppelin's historic performance at the Pontiac Silverdome in 1977, which drew 76,229 fans and set an attendance record for a single-act show, was the culmination of their relentless touring schedule. This historic occasion served as a reminder of the band's unmatched appeal and fame. Rock bands thrive on their live performances, yet even with their ardent love of music, touring can be quite taxing. Drummer John Bonham was a passionate and outspoken member of Led Zeppelin in the middle of the 1970s. He frequently expressed his wish to quit the band because of the stress of touring non-stop and his yearning to be with his family. The band broke up on October 17, 1980, as a result of his drinking and drug abuse, which made matters worse. After Bonham's death was declared an accident, his ashes were interred in the St. Michael Parish Church in Dirt, Worcestershire. Exhaustion had almost caused John Paul Jones to leave Led Zeppelin in 1973, so he took a break to enjoy a more tranquil life with his family and check out different music venues. Diana Gallas, Rim Jars, Clay Hart, Benny King, Peter Gabriel, Foo Fighters, Lenny Kravitz, Cinderella, The Mission Laurel's House, Brian Eno, the Butthole Surfers, and Uncle Earl were among the musicians he worked with. Alongside Jimmy Page Jones, Jones also contributed to the soundtracks of Give My Regards to Broad Street and Scream for Help the Lad. Jones and Led Zeppelin reunited for their legendary Live Aid performance and for the 40th anniversary celebration of Atlantic Records on May 14, 1988. He did, however, voice his disappointment at not being included in the reunion projects from the mid-1990s, one of which was titled after one of Jones's best-known Led Zeppelin songs. Jones would have loved to receive the news straight from them and felt it was disrespectful not to tell him about the reunion arrangements. An even more disappointing event for Jones came the year after, when Led Zeppelin was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Rumor had it that Jones had declined to play. Feeling petty and disorganized, he just showed them his bass and ended up completing the soundcheck by himself. Although Jones was friendly with Jimmy Page and Robert Plant, he maintained his dignity by avoiding open discussion of these matters and concentrating on his own music and endeavors. Jones made a daring move by releasing his debut solo album, Zuma, in 1999, which signaled his rise from the background to the fore. His creative versatility and virtuosity were on display in the instrumental record, demonstrating that he was more than just a supporting actor. The multi-talented musician John Paul Jones has played a big role in the music business. The Thunder Thief, his second solo album, was released in 2001 and was backed by lengthy tours. He joined forces with drummer Turl Bryant and musician Nick Beggs, who is well known for his work with the Chapman Stick. He established himself as a talented and prominent artist even more in 2004 when he went on tour with the Mutual Admiration Society. Along with Josh Holle of Queens of the Stone Age and Dave Grohl of Foo Fighters, Jones also founded the supergroup Them Crooked Vultures in 2009. Them Crooked Vultures, the band's debut album, won a Grammy for Best Hard Rock Performance and was widely praised by critics. The British Academy of Songwriters, Composers, and Authors honored Jones with a Gold Badge Award in recognition of his enormous contribution to the country's entertainment and music industries. During his live performances, he was also bestowed with the Marshall Classic Rock Roll of Honor Award's Outstanding Contribution Award. To the joy of his audience, Jones frequently incorporated a couple of Led Zeppelin classics. He's found that in the US, these well-known songs appear to elicit even more excitement than they do in England. Jones was very humble in his personal life. He lived in England and was able to maintain his sense of reality due to his relative anonymity. His pragmatic viewpoint presents a novel interpretation of fame and fortune, portraying a guy who is happy with his legacy and the small joys of everyday life. Jones had to strike a balance between his personal and professional lives because of the rock and roll lifestyle and his relentless touring and recording schedule with Led Zeppelin. To keep their marriage stable and based on mutual trust, they needed to communicate and work at it constantly. They have stayed together for more than 50 years in spite of these difficulties, which is evidence of their dedication to one another's legacy. Jones's biography is one of talent, tenacity, and unwavering devotion to his craft. He became a prominent character in his own right despite the shadows created by his more well-known comrades, demonstrating that often the quietest voices have the greatest influence. So viewers, for the next update please subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.